Welcome back, journal loves, those who love to journal. My name is Micaiah, and I make journals. Today's journal, we are going to be remaking my daughter's keepsake journal. So if you have not seen in other videos, I have used this journal to do her keepsakes. So her drawings, her birthday cards, her ultrasound, you name it, I have it in here. Okay, so now these pages are just, her projects are becoming more bigger and they're just not giving me everything I wanted to give, like more room to be more, flexible, I guess, with what I could do. So I am upgrading her. And because that's one of the first journals I made, my journaling life, my creativity with my the covers have evolved to the point where I wanted to give her her own handmade journal by her mother. Another one. Another one. So, yeah, this is it. So this is the cover. This is the back. These are, there are some pieces still missing here and here and here. But I plan on sewing that stuff on before I finish it off, as far as when you use the yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna finish it like this piece here. But today we are going to talk about the inside of the journal. So this is the inside of the journal. This is the back. I put Mod Podge on it so the thread doesn't go anywhere, and we don't have to worry about the beads moving. Sometimes I do put like some glue on the front end once I get everything done when I'm adding to the journal. I might still do that. But this is the journal. I pretty much sewed the fabric together at one point and then I started just sewing it onto the fabric. So that is what you see. All the sewing marks. So the plan is to get my spine as strong as possible, and then I'm going to place this right on top here, and then I wanted to put something here like some pockets or something, and then I wanted to put something here like maybe like a fold out where I could put like photos or just knickknacks that I just have laying around that I can't put on a journal layout. And because I have been pulling, and because I basically hand sewn a lot of this, the material, the box is not as straight anymore. It's a little flexible, but that's how I like it because it's easier for the machine to be able to sew through it, and then it's easier for me as well to be able to sew the embellishments on. So as you can see, I put her name right here on the front, Maya, and then she got, if you can see, there is a rose there. Her middle name is Rose, and then I have beads all through here, and then I did some collaging over here of just random stuff. Her last name starts with an S. We also have an S right there, and then I have a unicorn. She is our unicorn baby. And there are some things on the back. This is one of her shirts that she would wear. This is another shirt. This is a part of the unicorn, and of course it says it. And then I just have random fabrics to make it just really stand out a lot. I put a lot of extra on this journal. And yeah, so if you want to see me remake this entire journal from this one to this one, please stay tuned and subscribe and like. And make sure you comment, have you made a journal lately? So first thing first, we're gonna have us a piece of candy. These are Rolos. Oh, so good. If you don't know, too bad. So first thing first, we're gonna strengthen this spine. I did put like a starter spine, which is it seems like it's a little off, but whatever. I'm just gonna make this one smaller. So I am using a old French toast box. I'm gonna cut this straight down the middle. First, I'm going to fold it just because I can. So it's awesome. I'll fold it right here. And then I'm just going to bend this all the way. All the way. There we go. And then we're going to fold it a couple more times. Because remember, we want to make this very, very sturdy. We want a very, very sturdy spine. Because I want it to be able to hold the heavy weight of my daughter's journal. And I just want to make sure it's a little smaller than the one that's already there. Because, of course, it's going to build with every turn. So I think this is going to be the last one. I'm going to just take my scissors and just because it's a little thicker now. And just do that. Because remember, it's going to go right on the spine here, right here. I want you to see the whole thing right there. And here, it's going to cover the entire book. Not like the pretend one. Or, let's not say pretend, let's say starter. Yes. The starter spine. So I'm just going to cut this down like this. And then I'm going to measure it from the tippy top all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to mark it off. So I'm going to be very, very precise with this. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just cut it like that. Make sure it's very precise because I'm going to glue it on, and then I'm going to use the paper as a mount. This here is raised. I don't know if you can see, I was touching it earlier. I could possibly cut it off. I'm gonna have to. maybe take this down. Yeah. Because it goes to this, so it's already like knotted. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, but I will still like glue it, tape it down, and then I will put some glue on top, because I'm gonna glue this down with the Mod Podge. So okay, first off, I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't be, it's not popping up. So let's do that. So, found the tape. I'm just going to wrap it around tight. Okay, wrap it around tight. Okay, and then same thing right here. And then there's my spine. Now, if I want, I can put some tape on the bending areas, but because we have our starter spine, we don't have to worry about any bending. So I would just, if it feels a little comfortable, you would just tape it. That will help, so it doesn't bend too much, or make sure that the bending areas are on the starter spine. Dun, dun, dun. So the starter spine just is a little thicker than I thought. I don't know what happened. The fabric must have moved, but whatever. I don't care. It's already sewn on there, and it's sewn by the fabric, so it doesn't really matter. But it still bends where I want it to bend. So, and that will just add for more security if it is like really close to the other side. So it's not bending. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. So I'm fine where it's at. So I am just going to go ahead and tape this down. First, let's tape this down. Let's tape that down like that. And then we'll tape this down on both sides. Just making sure it's lined up properly. I don't like when it's like this. I want my paper to sit flat. Okay. So, because I'm going to glue it down more, this is going to be glued to the paper, so I don't have to worry about this, any of this stuff coming up on top of. This isn't anything like serious, like any of the beads or anything like that. It'll pretty much hold itself in there. So, but I do want it as flat as possible. All right, and then I am going to put this on top of this, like so. And then it's gonna fold. So let's do our first fold. And this is the first crease of the inner spine cover. And then we'll just make sure it's where we want it to be, which is right here, right? So usually I'll take some clips and clip it down where I want it, so I don't have to worry about it moving, right? This is where I want it to be. But, and then we have to do the other side of the spine. And you always want to make for a little bit of wiggle room, just so that, but I want to just test it out before I make these final decisions to make sure my spine is as strong as I want it to be. Because sometimes you might need to add another sheet of paper, or maybe this on top. I think that's what I'm going to do before I put this one. Just to add for more stability. I want it to be as stable as possible. And another candy break. Alright, so we can just mark it here, here, and here. And so it's not like centered, but who cares? I'm not aiming for it to be centered. I'm just aiming to be able to fold it down. Usually you can just do it in one swap, but you know, because it's a little thicker, use the scissors to kind of get that crease in there, like that. So then we'll just do it again on the other side. You can like also bend it back just to give it more of a crease, so you have more, you'll be able to do more with it. Like you can move it around without it, you know, being like super tight. And that's what you want for a spine. And remember, we use recyclable items here. I am not buying anything from China. Well, I'm like, I will buy from China, but it's so cheap. But I am not buying any pieces that I can literally make with items that I have at home. So I am my own supplier. I do buy my fabric, but a lot of it, it is always on sale. I never buy a lot of things that I'm not going to use. Okay. So, like I said, making sure to just fold it back once, back again, and then I'm going to make sure it's lined up properly like I want it. Like I said, you can use the clips to line them up right there. Same thing on this side. And then boom. Now I just need to cut this down to size. So, of course I want this to be as close to the edge as possible. I like this because now I won't have to worry about my journal falling forward. Because before it was like falling like flat like this, and I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be like that, and it was falling forward. So now I have this in here. I don't have to worry about it falling flat forward. And of course, when the paper's in there, it's going to make it even more. But I just want to make a nice sturdy spine. When you have a fabric journal, you want your spine to be the #1 thing, because that's what comes apart first. The spine. So I want it to be as close as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and just sew this on, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back, and I went ahead and sewed this back piece on. It still is open here because I didn't want to sew on this part straight down. Usually I do, but I just figured because I'm going to use the glue anyways, I can just glue it on and it'll be just fine. So I already started 1/2 of this already glued down. Let me see. Okay, and then I'm gonna glue the other half down. So I'm just gonna take the Mod Podge and I'm just going to squirt it everywhere like so. And then I'm gonna take my brush. I'm just going to glue it down. And I do take the glue and put it underneath so that it glues down. And if you layer it really good, it dries really fast. So do like this. And kind of push it down like this. Add some weight on it. Like that. So, and I'm going to let it dry, and then we're going to talk about, I'm going to go clean my brush off, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do. I already said I want to put pockets on 1/2, pockets for like things that I didn't put in the book yet, or things in whatever. And then I want to put on the other side maybe a fold out with like a magnet that it clips together, it clips closed, and then that way in the inside can be like some of her writing and my writing, some things that we could write down together. And then on the front side I'm gonna write I'm gonna find a daughter-mother poem, and I am going to put it on the front of that. That's what I want to do. That's my vision. So stay tuned, and if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and I will bring back way more content like this. And then this is the journal. Boom! It's so cute. And that is how you do a spine. And it does still lay flat. It's just that it's still drying and it has double parts. But because I just want this to lay as flat as possible, I don't know, as flat as possible and be as secure as possible, I'm just going to add some Mod Podge. Oh, not there. Just to the, take that there, to the corners here so that they can lay a little flat. Now I do plan on reinforcing some of this stuff with, what do you call, sewing it down, but I'm going to do that later because sometimes you can't sew when you have the beads in certain areas. So I like to not rely on sewing because I sew everything. Because I don't like glue like that. Hence the brush. And that's what I like to pretty much not have to use any glue. But with the brush, and because sometimes the fabric and the paper meet where it won't, this won't be able to be glued down with just the Mod Podge. I would have to use something else, which is my E40, which or 3E60, which ran out, so I have to wait until I get some more. And that's what I usually use on my stone as well, to kind of get these stones to stay put where they're not rolling around and I don't have to worry about them coming off later. So that's what I usually use with my fabric, fabric to fabric, and when I am gluing down the beads in the stones to make sure that they don't move. I use that. So, and then I will let this dry, and then we will start the important stuff, the fun stuff, the cool stuff of decorating the journal, the inside of the journal. After I decorate the journal, I plan on taking all of the pages that I already journaled on. I'm going to take those out, and we're going to add them to a larger, paper content, or paper paper size, let's say that, because I'm going to have to put them in between that. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, and that is that. I'll put some down here. Because it's not staying down at this point. Clip it down. Like so. Yeah. Same on this side too. Clip it down. All right, until next time, peace, love, and journal.